Hello, this is Kinninigan from RagingReptilian.com. I'm going to be live streaming this, so if you're here in the chat, welcome. The Alien Gray Agenda. I told people going forward in 2020 I want to get back more towards conspiratorial things, if you want to call it that. However, I got a very interesting video to make here. I'm basically what I'm going to do, because each thing I'm going to be talking about in this video, of course, I got quite a few. We are talking about alien grays. Wow, that's not a... Yeah, that might be a pretty... you might not have ever seen that picture. I found that one. It's supposedly from the Roswell incident. We're going to be talking about the Roswell incident. And I'm also going to show you some of the best UFO footage ever filmed. That is the infamous 2009 Turkey alien gray UFO incident. It is on my channel. It was one of the first videos I uploaded to my new Kinninigan 2.0 channel. The video doesn't even have 1,000 views. So, and it was, like I said, that was when I first started the salvaging of my old videos. But there's been a thing about these alien grays that I want to talk about, going back through 100-year history. I'm going to start off the gate with what got me into looking into wanting to talk about alien grays. There is a look, it's a strange world. This is the story floating around the internet. President Putin fired his whole entire cabinet of government because they refused to help him fight an interdimensional war in Iran and Syria with the Anunnaki. Now, yeah, huge red flags, because the Anunnaki, no, they are, no. I show people what the Anunnaki look like. No, they are not out, they are not militant like that. Quite possibly they are engaging, if this is true, interdimensional Zeta Reticulans, or some other species that that is hostile. And there's some strange truth to this. Like I said, I'm going to take you through a 100-year history. We're going to be talking about Area 51. Many of you know I visited Area 51 and filmed UFOs. Footage is on my YouTube channel. Just search Area 51. However, there hasn't been that many good, authentic pictures of alien grays throughout the years. And this is why when I show you the Turkey incident, in fact, we're going to play this, because I'm going to be playing this video in 3 parts. All these links will be in the description. I even have a link to the original source video of this incident. So if you don't like the one I made with the creepy music, that's fine. I also have the supposed J-Rod interview in here from Area 51. However, I'm a little skeptical about that. And we're going to talk about Roswell. And really, there's some major red flags with the Roswell incident. It may not exactly be what you think. Oh, it involves aliens. But I think it involves something a little more nefarious. And there's just some major red flags with the word Roswell itself, from studying the occult and the rose bloodline, and the symbology of the rose, especially with the Masons. It happened on the 33rd parallel. Yeah, the more I looked into the Roswell incident over the years, there major occultic things were popping out, and you know, and me and other researchers teach you, these people are all about symbolism. So we'll talk about Roswell. I'll talk about a few other things too. First, let me play this clip, because this is probably, there's been many people, and I'll give you a little background on this clip that you're going to watch after we watch this video, because there were multiple sightings in Turkey around the Sea of Marmara around 2008 and 2009. People tried to debunk the footage, and what's mind-boggling about the footage now is something that I'll explain it when we're done. The fact that, look at the spaceship that they're flying. They are flying a triangle TR-3B anti-gravitational ship. And what I mean by this, because we have the patents to that ship that literally just came out. I'm going to show you on Google. You can find the patents right on Google now for the TR-3B anti-gravitational ship. And if we had alien grays filmed piloting this craft. What does that tell you? Oh, that, quite possibly all that stuff that got Phil Schneider killed. You know, I didn't pull up any links on Phil Schneider. I've had videos on him. You're probably familiar. He's the whistleblower that had the infamous 1979 shootout with alien greys at the Dulce base. He was suicided for disclosing a lot of the information about the alien grey agenda, including the real treaty that was, I have that pulled up. It's the treaty, the Grata Treaty, I believe, with Eisenhower. It took place in 1954. Like I said, I'm going to take you through the whole history of this. And because if they are piloting a TR-3B anti-gravitational ship that we hold the patents to here in America, where did they get the ship? And was Phil Schneider actually telling the truth? Listen, I've known about this footage going over a decade now, so have other UFO researchers. Nobody has ever debunked this. The clip you're about to watch with the UFO is authentic. The J-Rod clip I'm skeptical about, but we'll take a look at both of them. Let me play this. Turn the volume down a little bit. The music might be a little creepy for you. Now these are stills taken from the craft. You can see two alien greys. It's obvious right there. I got a pic pulled up online too that I'll show you, a blown up pic of this. And they're actually moving in the video. I'm assuming the UFO probably has a transparent, I don't know if it's glass. We don't know. This is advanced technology. I'm assuming something, but it's probably like transparent, like the cockpit of a jet. And that's why we're able to see these creatures. I'm gonna turn the volume up a little bit. I got in between the J-Rod and the
The current threat level is critical, meaning an attack is imminent. Civilians are advised to stay in their homes.
What we're seeing.
And that is, yeah, this is the J-Rod interview. The first one, we're going to talk about that Turkey incident, and then I'm going to try to, I'm going to go back to Russia for a second and this crazy story that's coming out. But there's some weird things happening in Russia. I've always believed that there's, you know, with Trump mentioning Space Force, we've had an increase in UFO sightings all across the country now that pops up every day. I see on Drudge Report, UFO filmed over New York, UFO filmed over Las Vegas. Right, and you know, it seems like it's becoming more and more in your face about it. Now, the Turkey incident, to give you a little background on this, I'm not going to be reading the whole thing here. Yeah, this happened in a place. Please don't laugh. It is actually called Kumburgers. Yeah, yeah, that is in Turkey. And I'll put these links in the description because I found this. This is a forum, UFO Research Network, which is good. It's on a Pro Boards forum, and what I like about forums is I used to be a forum poster. You know, you can put text, pictures, and videos all embedded into your forum post. So the guy's got it all right here, including a little bit of background. This was in Turkey over the Sea of Marmara between 2008 and 2009. 2007 and 2009, there were massive sightings of these craft, these TR-3B ships. Now, back when this story first broke in 2009, we didn't know that, the TR-3Bs were kind of covered up. We didn't have the patents to them. What do I mean by that? Okay, this link will also be in the description. You go to Google Patents. Gentleman named John St. Clair, 12/20/2004. Although this wasn't online back then. This only became online, I believe, within the past year and a half. Someone sent it to me. And yes, what you're looking at, this is the patents for the TR-3B anti-gravitational craft. The one that the aliens in Turkey were flying. Do you see where I'm going at with this? This is true. Then what Phil Schneider was saying with aliens working with our government is true. Not only are the patents here, but so is all the science, all the physics. This is not some BS patent, I want to make a UFO. No, the guy's got all the real... I used to be good at science in school. I can't even understand some of these equations in here. I was looking at it earlier. And yes, he's got links here for other things that were invented, other parts that would make this thing work. And yes, it is an anti-gravitational craft with patents out. Now, John St. Clair Q. John Q. St. Clair? That sounds like a fake name to me. Wink, wink. Doesn't sound like... the inventor is John St. Clair. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so his patents are on here. A spacecraft having a triangular hull with vertical electrostatic line charges on each corner that produce a horizontal electric field parallel to the sides of the hull. This field interacting with a plane wave emitted by antennas on the side of the hull generates a force per volume combining both lift and propulsion. Wow. And you know what? It always starts out as a conspiracy theory. Remember, all the people that were reporting these triangle ships back in the day were all called conspiracy nuts, and now the patents are online. Just saying. This is why you shouldn't take some of the things that we talk about with a grain of salt. I mean, really look into this stuff. It's right in... Yeah, so that's amazing. A few more things. If you're interested in the Kumburgers UFO case, the gentleman here has all the original... This is where I got the source video to make my video. There is volume in these videos, but it's just from the gentleman recording. I'll blow that up to full screen for you so you can see. Yeah, this is the unedited footage. He's got 3 video clips here. They're each around 6-7 minutes long. You can see the 2 alien grays right there. Amazing. There's been a lot. They tried to originally say that this was a cruise ship that was filmed. That was such BS. That got debunked so quick. No, it's not a cruise ship. I believe that the reason why they were in panic mode over this footage is because of what I just told you. It basically proves that, because we know that Lockheed Martin, Skunks Works Division, I believe, the Nazis that we're going to talk about that because, we know that, it's been rumored they had these ships for years, but I've seen a lot of whistleblowers over the years, but never heard of any whistleblower pilots, human ones, that actually were flying these ships. Have you? Maybe there is. Seen a lot of whistleblowers over the year, but I've never seen any pilots come forward, that human pilots admitting to piloting these ships. For all we know, now these alien greys here, let me explain what they are first. You hear me talk about the Archons a lot. You want to learn, I've done a lecture on Archons. Archons are psycho-spiritual parasites, more or less. These are going back to, they're mentioned in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yes, I know about that. That's a separate video in itself. Because the Archons and Gnosticism, John Lash comes to mind. They got a lot of his work on here. He's done, I've seen quite a few of his lectures. And Jay Wildner, yeah, he's the other one. So there's an article here called, and these Archons are the ones that I talk about that are summoned in black magic ritual, going back to, oh, I know, I think I had it pulled up. This is what I said about 100-year history. Now this is Lamb. This is the alien gray that Aleister Crowley came up with. His name was Lamb. He's number 71 in the Lesser Key of Solomon. There are 72 demons in there. So yeah, these are the Archons. These are not the same exact ones. The alien greys piloting that craft in Turkey, I believe, are the biological androids that are created in the underground base at Dulce, the one that Phil Schneider had to shoot out the aliens at. Maybe their bodies are just more conducive for taking 0 Gs, more than a human. Maybe that's why they pilot them. I don't know. I don't know that much about their physiology, except they, you know, they're evil looking. I'll tell you that. There's so you pick one of the aliens here. This is another well-known alien gray pick floating around for years. Don't know how legitimate it is or not, but yeah, these are the ones that we're looking at here in Turkey. Big heads, big eyes, and yeah, they are piloting that UFO. Now, going back with the 100-year history, we're gonna go to Russia and this crazy story coming out about this interdimensional war that Putin is fighting. And listen, Putin really did. His cabinet, his whole entire cabinet resigned after his State of the Union address. And there's rumors floating around because he gave them an ultimatum to help him fight the interdimensional war. Now, people are saying it's the Anunnaki. It's not the Anunnaki. I believe they're just, it quite possibly is an interdimensional species they're encountering. But you got to ask yourself, what was going on really with Iran? Why did we stand down so quick? Why did Putin take that emergency trip to Syria right around the time that things were going down with the embassy? Yeah, he did. He made an unannounced visit to Syria right around that time. And so now this guy here, this YouTuber, claiming that the Russians are fighting the Anunnaki, he's got a website. He wrote the story. There is no source link. So the guy basically has his own website, writes this story, and then makes a YouTube video about it. I don't like throwing people under the bus, but when you're throwing them around the word Anunnaki, it piques my interest. Yeah, he's making these videos. Yeah, Russian government resigns him in Anunnaki disputes. What? Yeah. U.S. forces flee Anunnaki in Syria. Yeah, I don't know if he's misusing Anunnaki on purpose, but these are not the Anunnaki. So, and yeah, of course, like I said, he has a website, writes the article, makes a YouTube video about it. You guys got 40,000 subs. Hey, talking about my subscribers, YouTube finally just unlocked my subscriber count. It was stuck at 43,000 subs for like 6 months. Now, if you look, I think I have 44,000 subs now. So I don't know what's going on in YouTube. They finally, I guess they can't unsub as many people from me anymore. Alright, so what is going on in Russia? Is Putin fighting an interdimensional war? Well, I don't know, but I went to RT News, and guess what? Yeah, his whole cabinet did resign. I don't know why. Russian MPs confirm Mikhail Mishustin as new prime minister after cabinet resignation. Yeah, the entire cabinet resigned after Putin's State of the Union. And there's rumors floating around that, yeah, because he's fighting interdimensional forces in Iran. Now, stuff's going to get a little crazy here. I told you, I'm going to take you on a little history. So how crazy does that sound? Let's go back a few more years. This is a story I covered back when I was a forum poster at a site called Disclosed TV back in the day. I covered this. I wasn't a YouTuber. I wasn't making videos yet. This is going back to 2014. Iran says tall white space aliens control America. Yeah, that came from the leaders of Iran. Documents leaked by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden, you all know who he is, conclusively prove that the United States has been ruled by a race of tall white space aliens who also assisted the rise of Nazi Germany in the 1930s. He's talking about these guys, known as the Zeta Reticulans. Yeah, creepy. Don't ask me where I got this pic. I've had this pic on multiple computers over the years. It's one of the pics I save when I get a new computer because it's very difficult to find again. I believe that this was like a puppetry sculpture that someone made to represent what they look like. I don't think the pic is authentic. But a strange story came out about these tall alien whites. It is said that they have a base in Japan, and they wear wigs in public and blend right in with Japanese people on the street without even being noticed. Sounds crazy, but there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Japan. I've covered quite a few videos if you ever heard of the Kappa creatures, the Tengu. They just Japanese mythology alone, it's pretty crazy. And plus, Japan was a closed-off country for thousands of years. You could never get inside of Japan. Strange. For all we know, there might be some truth to that. I don't know. But these ones here obviously look nothing like the little alien gray buggers piloting that craft. These are the supposedly the tall white Zeta Reticulans, the one that Iran was talking about. So yeah, this story came out with documents that came from Edward Snowden of all people. Again, if you want to read this, all the links will be in the description. I'm going to take you more of a history because they go over some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about here. The 1954 meeting with President Dwight Eisenhower. However, we've known about the aliens way before 1954, and I'm going to explain to you what I think the Roswell incident was and really what was going on with the alien craze here that actually makes sense. Okay, so what's going on in Russia? Why did the whole cabinet just resign? I don't know. But Putin must have told him something. Supposedly, he threatened them that if they didn't, he was going to throw them in a gulag if they refused to help him because he wants to pump a massive amount of Russian forces into this interdimensional war now. Now, there were UFO stories that came out years ago in Russia. There was one, I may have made a video about it, about supposedly Russians who encountered aliens and were vaporized. And it sounds a lot like the weapon that Phil Snyder was hit with in the hand when he was shot by an alien gray. There might be some truth to this. Maybe this is why Trump is mentioning Space Force. Maybe this is why we're having a massive rise in UFO sightings. But let's go back, give you a little history. You know, I actually have a copy of this book. It's a little kid's book because I got it for a Christmas present. It came with a bunch of like books. War of the Worlds. One of my favorite stories. In my children's book of War of the Worlds, the aliens in there look like the Anunnaki. But they have tentacles. They have bird faces. Now, when I got those books for Christmas, I think I was like 4 or 5 years old. It's the only book I still have. The book is old. And I want to show that on video one day. I think that'll be fun. Reading that on video and showing you the pictures inside the book. Because the aliens inside the War of the World book that I have, their faces look like the Anunnaki. But back to the War of the Worlds. You may have heard about this. In 1938, there was an infamous radio broadcast. It's been theorized by me, and I believe it, and other researchers, that this was actually a disclosure test. They were going to disclose the alien presence, and they wanted to see how people would react. So they made October 30th, 1938, millions of radio listeners tuned in, and they actually thought they were listening to a news recording, the way it was done, and they thought we were being attacked by Martians. Well, people grabbed guns. People were panicking. Things got bad, very bad. And then I guess they realized that no, humans couldn't handle disclosure or the alien presence. And then they shrugged it off as just being oh, we were just reading Orson Welles' story and it was not supposed to scare anyone. Bullcrap. This was a dry test for disclosure in 1938 to see how people would deal with an alien presence. Okay? Now this, I am going to make in the future a separate video just about this whole entire incident because it obviously ties in. This happens in 1938. The most infamous, sorry, that was the alien here. This story, sorry, wrong picture. July 1947, the Roswell incident. So what is actually happening here? Well, for years, we thought they really did, try to cover up a UFO that crashed in Roswell. However, after studying the occult for years, the word Roswell obviously related to rose, and I'll give you a little quick occult information on rose. The reason why it's so revered by the Masons, it is the flower of Lucifer. Yes. It's something called alchemy, which I learned from the teachings of the Masons from a book I've showed before, the one written by the Rosicrucian Max Heindel, in which he explains it's the union of fire and water. That is what the rose represents. The green stem pulls the water up through the ground and makes the red petals of the rose, all while the stem is guarded by the martial thorns of Lucifer. Gets into something called tantric alchemy. So now when I hear Roz and sounds too much like Rose. Not only that, it happened on the 33rd parallel. That goes back to the fallen angels falling on Mount Hermon. So, yet massive Masonic symbolism in the whole Roswell incident. I'm going to make a future video about it in the future. I believe that they intentionally created the conspiracy, though. They wanted people to think that we actually had an alien craft crash here and we recovered an alien, but they were trying to cover it up and write it off as a weather balloon, when in fact they actually wanted people to believe that conspiracy. Why do you think they published it in the newspaper? Yeah, RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell. And then they backtrack and say it's a weather balloon. We all know the story. I believe this was totally set up. And this was to basically set up what would become Space Force, what would become the secret testing at Area 51, what would be a way to, and then, remember what happens. In 1938, we get the dry run for disclosure. People freak out when they hear War of the Worlds. They want to kill each other. They think the Martians are invading. In 1947, almost a decade later, we have the Roswell incident. And now people are like, wow, the aliens might be real. We have, so, and when you look back on a lot of the interviews and stuff from Roswell, and seeing that we know what it is today, like false flag attacks and disinformation, it's so easy to pick out now. Plus the symbolism. So, and then what happens, and I'll explain to you what the Roswell incident was probably for. It was probably, setting up at Area 51. So we can utilize alien technology, but where did we get the alien technology? Did we find it in the crashed UFO in the desert? Or were we given that UFO? What does that mean? I believe people like Bob Lazar that came forward, that worked at Area 51, hired to back engineer the technology. I believe that's true. I just don't believe in the way they acquired the UFO. I believe they were given it. And that would go back to 1954 with the infamous Greta Treaty. President Eisenhower forms a treaty with aliens at Holloman Air Force Base. This is another very infamous story. Now, does it make sense? And supposedly with this treaty, although we don't know the exact details of it, Eisenhower meets with these Zeta Reticulans, and they give us alien technology, the craft that eventually makes it to Area 51, the one that Bob Lazar back engineers. And in exchange, we allow them, I forget the exact number, it might have been 200,000. Anyone remember Missing 411, that story? That ties into this. Yes, we allowed them to take a certain amount of humans off, take them and utilize them for, because it actually came out years later that one of the ways that these aliens feed is they bathe themselves in vats of liquid, and they absorb nutrients through their skin. And those vats, this comes from Phil Schneider, those vats that the aliens would eat from were made from humans. So we made this treaty with these alien grays, and they gave us technology in exchange. Now, what's interesting, going to the Lacerda files, the interview with the female reptilian that's on my channel, yes, Lacerda mentions the Roswell incident in that. And what's interesting, what she says in that, was that when Eisenhower makes this agreement with the aliens, they give us the technology, but they didn't give us like 100% on how to use it correctly. they kind of fell back on their end of the bargain, but they still got to abduct humans. And there was also another strange thing that I found with the 1954 Greta Treaty. This is right after World War II. We obviously dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima. There was stories that came out years about aliens interfering with our nukes. Apparently, they don't want us to use them. And there's been a lot of conspiracy stuff about that. I'm going to track the clip down. There was a whistleblower who supposedly worked for the CIA on a mainstream news media station stating this. That yes, our nuclear arsenal was... UFOs had been spotted near one of our nuclear arsenals, and our nuclear missiles were decommissioned, and I believe this happened around the Cold War with Russia. Very interesting story. Like I said, I'm kind of going through the timeline here, and each one of these subjects is fascinating and probably a video all in itself. So that's what I believe really happens at Area 51. Roswell is invented by our deep state, whatever you want to call them, to cover up the fact that we had this agreement with aliens and that we would be receiving alien technology to back engineer, eventually leading up to the UFO that Bob Lazar back engineers, and just more strange things that come out about Roswell. That if you're interested, there's this story here of a supposed ex-Area 51 employee. You may have heard of him, Bill Uhouse. 71. He was 71 at the time, claimed to have been an Area 51 engineer, and revealed that he used to work in collaboration with a gray alien at the Area 51 site. Bill Uhouse claims to have worked with an alien he dubbed J-Rod. Now we're going to watch that J-Rod footage, who helped him in understanding how to control the alien vehicle. Bill Uhouse passed away in 2009. Now, the J-Rod footage I have, you may have seen this before, you may have not. I think that this one, I'm a little skeptical about it. I don't think the alien looks right. I believe the ones in the Turkey UFO footage, yeah, these ones, they seem to look a little different. I think J-Rod just looks too much like an iconic, yeah, you see the heads? They're a little different, ain't they? This could have been propaganda put out by the same people engineering Roswell. because they needed to create the Black Ops program. Well, the Black Budget, not the Black Ops. Black Budget program. You know, where they funnel all this secret tax money into all these secret programs, Area 51, Space Force, developing advanced weapons, planes, anti-gravitational UFOs, stuff that we're not supposed to know about. And I believe that's what the Roswell incident was initially designed to cover up and create Area 51. And for years they denied Area 51 existed. It was all just a conspiracy theory. And now you got YouTubers who just try to do a raid on Area 51. I've been to Area 51. It's there. It's real. We know it is. You can see it on Google Maps now. The only thing you don't know is where Area 52 is. Supposedly it's in Colorado. But, yeah, that's... So let's watch this J-Rod footage here. Now, the letters in this, I do know what these stand for. This is supposed to be the Department of Naval Intelligence. And supposedly how they were communicating with this alien was with a psychic. But then something happened during the interview, and you'll see the medical staff comes in. But I'm a little skeptical of this footage, though.
Alright, we're looking at the interview suite at S4. It's kept dark for the comfort of the aliens. The figure who is just barely visible in the left foreground is the telepath, and behind the camera is a raked seating area for observers. Although in this case, I believe the only other person present was a military aide. The alien is seated behind a glass partition in a biocontainment area, which is maintained at biosafety level 2, the lowest designation. That's primarily for the protection of the aliens, not us. The theory is that if they were going to infect us with an alien bug, it would have happened 50 years ago. In fact, all the indications are the aliens eliminated microbial and viral life from their own ecosystem long ago. They aren't susceptible to our diseases directly, but it has been shown that microbes can reproduce and form colonies within their respiratory systems, which tends to exacerbate the debilities they seem to suffer anyway in our environment. In fact, you can see here the alien is beginning to flag. The interview was not going well. The telepath was trying to clarify some points from a previous interview, but he wasn't receiving coherent responses. As you can see, the being is in real distress. At this point, the telepath is sending out a message to the medical staff. He's trying to communicate with the alien, but he's getting no response. There's very little he can do. There's no direct connection between his space and the biocontainment area. That's the aide stepping in on the right. The medical staff should be there by now. They're slow in responding. There they are. I have to say the medical personnel at S4 are less than first rate. They tend to be selected for their willingness to keep secrets rather than their medical competence. By the way, he's not shining that light into the eyes. It looks that way, but in fact he's checking for hemorrhaging around the eye sockets and in the nasal cavity. I'm sorry. It's very hard for me to watch this.
The current threat level is critical, meaning an attack is imminent. Civilians are advised to stay in their homes.
Yeah, it's just... Alright, I'm gonna pause this because the music is really... It's creepy. Where did I get that music from? I don't know. I may have made that with a few different samples. I forget. But I tell people I used to be a DJ, and I just thought that the music I put in here, it's very like it intensifies the footage a lot. I'm not really trying to scare people, but yeah, it's just a video playing again of before I started, talking on video, there's close-ups of the alien grays here. This is obviously what I used to do, is make videos, scored the music, and until I got enough guts to pick up a chat mic one day, and I haven't stopped talking since, huh? So, this is kind of my introduction into the alien gray agenda. I definitely have a lot more stuff to cover about these alien grays. Now, the reason why I'm skeptical about this, again, about this J-Rod footage, is because every time that I see, supposedly, the alien from Area 51 at Roswell, it looks different every single time I find a picture. Someone claims, this is the authentic pic. No, this one is. And they all look different. It's like, I don't know. Maybe they are maybe they are. For all we know, they might have as much diversity among their species as humans have. Look how diverse and different looking humans could be from place to place and region to region. Right. So I believe that, they're hominoid. We typically think of alien grays, but I wouldn't put them all into one class. We definitely have different ones. These guys, these are supposed to be the evil old bastards that work in conjunction with the reptilians. These are the ones that Edward Snowden was talking about. Quite possibly, I believe, if what is coming out of Russia is true, these quite possibly could be the ones that Putin is talking about. And if it is true what I was talking about, them having a stronghold in Asia and Japan, does world politics start to make sense now, especially looking into places like North Korea, Japan? Yeah, right. Some interesting things come out about that. But and this is probably the closest authentic pic I could find of a tall Zeta white reticulum. These guys are said to be tall and thin. As a reference, Steven Spielberg probably became the first one to actually dox alien grays in a movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I'm mentioning that because it's been quite a few years since I actually watched that movie, but I think I want to rewatch that and maybe do a video analysis of it, because if you know anything about Spielberg, and he is the master of symbolism in his movies, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that would pop out to me now when I watch that movie. But again, every time we find alien grays, this one is supposed to be an authentic pic from Roswell, completely different looking than any of the other. Yeah, then we had this. Now this one, that is a known fake video that popped up on the internet. A lot of these, I've known the fake ones, but this one, yeah, this one, pretty strange looking. Then obviously we know this was more propaganda that went out with the whole Roswell thing, which is why I believe it was BS. We had that fake alien autopsy. Then it was so horrible. Then they admitted it was a fake. Yeah, if anyone's ever seen that old alien autopsy footage, it wasn't real. Yeah, and then we had, they're doxing oh, look at this alien technology we found out in the desert. Yeah, I believe it was all staged. The only thing that might have been authentic is if anyone remembers that little piece they found out in the desert that had the alien writing on it. I mean, it could be a forgery, but they could have actually used real alien writing on it. The point I'm making, they've already been aligned with these alien grays and known about them well before the Roswell incident. That's what that whole dry test of disclosure goes back to with War of the Worlds. What's interesting, too, is the timing of the War of the Worlds broadcast. 1938, right before World War II. And then obviously we know about Germany and the Foo Fighters from World War II, and the Nazis admitting that they had UFO technology, which is true, and the footage is on my YouTube channel. I'm surprised YouTube let me keep that video up. I know they demonetized it because you can't put the word Nazi in a video anymore. I mean, even if you're educating people about real world history, they label as hate speech. Oh, because, oh, that's right. With Google and YouTube, history is now hate speech. But you can call a Trump supporter that, and that's okay. Just saying, the footage is on there. I'm going to redo a video on that. If I can't put that on YouTube, I've done lectures on like the Vril, the occult secret societies of the Nazis, and I've done one on Maria Orsic. Those are on my Patreon. Videos like that, and I try to do at least, I didn't do one last month, but I try to do one video a month for my Patreons. So if I can't put that on YouTube, because I want to really show a lot of stuff like with the Nazi technology of the Foo Fighters and all that, and then all these Nazis, and obviously it's going to be a video about Operation Paperclip when we bring the Nazi scientists over to found NASA, and this all happens around the same time in history, and I believe that most of the propaganda that comes out, like Roswell, it was all set up by the deep state, but the alien gray agenda is definitely real. And it's footage like this, like the footage in Turkey that comes out that basically proves that, hey, where did you get that TR-3B ship? Is that one of the ones that John St. Clair filed the patents for? Right. Where do you park this thing when you're done flying it? Lockheed Martin? Area 51? And there are some secret Space Force bases around. You've heard me mention Greenland. That video is coming up in Rome in Greenland. But we do have a base in Greenland called the Thule. There. And I made a video about that. Supposedly a UFO blew up over the Thule base recently. And they try to blame it on a meteorite. And that video is on my channel also. That was some strange news that came out recently. And then we're getting a lot of this stuff with Trump. Just unleashed Space Force is our 6th branch of the military now. The UFO sightings have been going up, but there's also been disinformation coming out about Space Force, so be careful what you listen to. I'm not mentioning any names, that's all I'm saying. But the Space Force is real. Trump did invent that, but as far as people privy to really what's going on, you know, inside of Space Force and the interactions that we're having with these extraterrestrial races, both benevolent and malevolent. Supposedly there are some good races helping us. That will be another video I will do. I am going to make a video. You've heard about the subject before, the Black Knight satellite and the Arcturians. I actually made that video on my first YouTube channel, but I lost that lecture, sadly. But it's fine, because usually when I redo a lecture, they're better because I get more information from the first time I did it. So it's not a bad thing. Quite a few videos to make about aliens and trying to keep up, you know, really will, because you got to admit, look, with all this talk about coming up about World War III, Armageddon, all these UFO, something is about to come off with disclosure and the acknowledgement of these extraterrestrial races. A lot of people, for years, they just call them demons. Look, you can call them demons all you want, but even in ancient petroglyphs, we have drawings of alien grays. And we have drawings of demons, and they don't look the same. They never have. People just, oh, they're demons. No, these are actually biological androids created in Dulce. From what I know, you actually don't create demons in an underground facility, but you can create biological androids. And there's no doubt that it's probably the Zeta Reticulans, going back to these guys, and the reptilians who design these little buggers. They're not the Archons. The Archons are summoned in black magic. Totally different species, and that ties in with like Aleister Crowley and Lamb and what I teach about the Archons. These little buggers are real. They're supposedly soulless little biological drones, probably specifically designed for doing what they were doing in Turkey, flying around these craft. Now, we know that there's been quite a few triangle UFO sightings throughout the years, but we never get pictures of the pilots now, do we? Until the one in Turkey, where they actually did. Most of the time with triangle UFO sightings, that's because whoever's seeing the UFO is seeing it from the bottom, for obvious reasons, and they don't see the top part. For all we know, every time we see one of these TR-3Bs flying around, it could be these alien greys flying it, not human pilots. And they're probably utilizing, you know, top secret sites like Area 51 and the secret base in Colorado, referred to as Area 52. And there's even a story that one of these craft was spotted in Afghanistan by our own military. They're seen all around the world. But the one from Turkey. Alright, there's a lot of links to put here in the description, but I will put them all if you want to do any further research into any one of these stories. It's pretty mind-boggling if you're new to this. It's a lot to take in. Everything from Iran accusing us of working with tall white alien greys to the Edward Snowden docs. What just happened in Russia? Why did Putin fire his whole cabinet after the State of the Union? Why is there rumor, you know, propaganda coming out that he's fighting the Anunnaki now? What was the War of the Worlds radio broadcast about in 1938? Was that really a test for disclosure? After they figured out it wouldn't work, then they engineered the Roswell incident as a cover for where they get this alien technology from. Oh, we found it. UFO crashed on Earth. It's ours now. Yeah, that's what they wanted you to believe. Although they didn't want you to believe it directly, which is why they come up with the weather balloon bullshit story. That was just a pathetic way to cover up the they really wanted you to believe that they found aliens in the desert and a UFO, so they can cover up the black budget. And eventually, you know, what was going to be happening in Area 51 with the back engineering of this technology. We know about Phil Schneider claiming. We know about Dulce Base. I made a video about Dulce and Phil Schneider in his infamous 1979 alien gray shootout. And look, for all we know, you know, look at our government. We got a bunch of Democratic idiots. Oh, that went through today too, isn't it? Before I get done this video here. What are they doing? Trying to impeach Trump still? And you got Trump, and then you got Putin over in Russia, who, if it's true, is gearing up for an interdimensional battle with aliens. Maybe he knows where the real threat is on this planet. Maybe there is something going on in Iran that, you know, why was Iran accusing us years ago of working with tall alien whites, and why did Putin land in Syria right around the time that the stuff happened with Iran, and what happened there? Is there something going on that we're not being told? Quite possibly. And these alien greys have been talked about quite a long time throughout history. I believe they've been here. Well, according to Phil Schneider, they found them in an underground cabin when they were drilling at Dulce, meaning and he said that they were here for a long time. Native Americans know about them. The petroglyphs all throughout the Southwest. You've probably seen them. That's a future video too. I'm going to make a video about those petroglyphs in the future. It's fascinating. Not just do we have them in America, we have them all around the world. They have petroglyphs in India of aliens. Petroglyphs in Europe, in caves, and it's crazy. So yeah, I believe a species has been here a long time, but a lot of the modern UFO propaganda has just been a massive cover for secret things like Space Force, the top secret technology we're utilizing, the development of these TR-3B triangle ships, which you can get the patents for now on Google. Isn't that amazing? It always starts out as a conspiracy until Google prints the patents. Right. You just can't make this up. Wow. 2004, they claim the original patent. You know, but these triangle ships, I believe, were being spotted before 2004. I remember the Turkey footage in the Sea of Marmara. This is from 2008 and 2009. Wow. So, anyway, if you're here in the chat, thanks for showing up, guys. I'll put all these links in the description. And again, I'm going to be making quite a few separate videos in the future about different things here. But as far as the story with Russia and that, I really want to look into this, and because this only broke in the past day, updated 5 hours ago. What is going on in Russia? Why did Putin's whole government quit after the State of the Union address? Of course, if it had anything to do with aliens or interdimensional, they're not going to mention it in mainstream media, obviously. I don't know where these people claim that he's at war with the Anunnaki are getting the information, but something just happened in Russia. Looking through the comments here to see, some of them are written in Russian. Wouldn't it be great if Trump did something like this, but all the Democrats just resigned? Oh, that ain't gonna happen. Anyway, it's going to be all for this video. If anyone's able to help me out with donations or through Teespring merchandise, cryptocurrency, or if you want to sign up and become a Patreon, all the links are in the description. Any questions or comments, leave them below. And until we speak again, this is Kinninigan, and take care.